Hello, this is John Rawling with Golden Goals, here taking a look at some of the great moments in the recent years of Newcastle United's illustrious history. You'll see once again some of the finest goals scored by the men in United shirts and how they helped take Newcastle United to FA Cup glory and league success. This is just one of an official FA series featuring all 22 of the Carling Premiership clubs, and we'll be bringing you the golden goals scored by each club in the Football League and the FA Cup over the last decade. The tunnel at St James's Park. This is the ground which is home to Newcastle United and also to one of English football's most passionate crowds. Kevin Keegan, he was already a footballing great. In the North East, he became a legend. Chris Waddle, on his day, quite brilliant. A throwback to the great wingers of the past. Peter Beardsley joined from Vancouver Whitecaps. His pace and vision blended perfectly with Keegan and Waddle. Imre Varadi, a prolific goalscorer with tremendous pace and the knack of being in the right place at the right time. Kenny Wharton, a local lad who made the grade, at home either as fullback or in the midfield. Terry McDermott, he enjoyed a second spell at Newcastle as a player after 7 years at Liverpool. Glenn Roeder was bought from Queen's Park Rangers, a defender who spent 4.5 years at the club. Paul Goddard, striker signed from West Ham in 1986 for a club record £415,000. And Paul Gascoigne, the Geordie hero, came up through the juniors and his brilliance persuaded Spurs to pay £2.3 million for his skills. Mirandinha, Brazilian striker signed from Palmeiras, the first Brazilian to play in the Football League. Michael O'Neill joined the club from Coleraine, often the super sub with the goal-scoring flair. Liam O'Brien joined from Manchester United. His ability in midfield earned him international recognition for the Republic of Ireland. Mickey Quinn, a cult figure, came from Portsmouth, leading goalscorer in successive seasons. And he linked up in attack with Mark McGee, approaching veteran status when he came back to the club for a second spell. Arthur Cox is the man who signed Keegan, a tough manager who quit after guiding Newcastle back to the First Division. Willie McFall played for the club as a goalkeeper, and he followed Big Jack Charlton as the club's manager. The hero returned. Kevin Keegan, back as manager, lured in by Sir John Hall to replace Ozzy Ardiles, and the glory years returned as well. United's proud history had seen them as league champions 4 times and cup winners on 6 occasions. But by 1981, the club was back in Division 2.
Just fell for Warden, and Truex trying to get it right on the right for Peter Cartwright. He's got in behind them and got it back for Mills. Goal! Very well worked goal indeed for Newcastle, and the contribution of the number 10 Peter Cartwright was immense. Having shrugged off the challenge there, looked up, played the perfect ball back for David Mills, and wallop.
It was another disappointing season. United had finished 9th, but Arthur Cox was to make one of the club's crucial signings. He persuaded Kevin Keegan to move from Southampton. It took just £100,000. Keegan agreed to a 2-year contract, and he was reputedly paid £3,000 a week. The crowd, well, they loved him. Terry McDermott would be persuaded to come back from Liverpool, also for a fee of £100,000, and for Keegan, well, it couldn't have started better.
Frags forward. Keegan's flick. Varadi. Keegan again. Chance here for Keegan. He's done it. Kevin Keegan scores, and St James's Park goes absolutely wild. 15 minutes gone, and Kevin Keegan celebrates his debut with the goal the whole of Tyneside has been praying for. substitute Derek Bell is on at the moment, as Keegan pushes that one wide for Saunders. Shannon, Berardi, dashed in there by Jeff Clark. There's the equaliser. Set up by Berardi, and Jeff Clark scores his first goal for Newcastle. Martin was in there, Berardi, the chance looked as though it was gone, but Clark pounced.
McDermott, he's got Keegan in the box. This is Keegan. Oh, is this it? What a magnificent goal! That's what the Geordie fans wanted. The inspiration from McDermott and the finish of Keegan. Martin came in to steal that. Berardi. Keegan, is this the hat-trick? Kevin Keegan gets the hat-trick, and Newcastle lead 3-0. The Geordie fans go mad. Kevin Keegan doubles his goal total for Newcastle, 3 before today, and a hat-trick here this afternoon. Mick Martin. Keegan, number 4. What a marvellous goal. What a performance by Newcastle.
Martin organising. Wharton with the corner kick. Houghton's there first. It's only half clear. Anderson trying to get it back for Newcastle. Martin was there with a little touch. Keegan, Waddle, he scored. That's the goal Chris Waddle wanted on his return to the team. Forward for Berardi. And the goal there, scored by Kenny Wharton. As the Shrewsbury defence was caught rather square and napping. Anderson into the middle, and there were defenders there to clear it, but Wharton was the man who cashed in. 6 minutes gone, and Kenny Wharton, pushed forward into midfield today, pops up in the penalty box to score. Keegan looking to send Waddle away here. Berardi in the middle. Keegan's arriving now. Berardi, 3-0. No mistake there by Imre Berardi. And Newcastle finish in style. A well-worked goal that. Much of the credit due to Chris Waddle, who made the positive break. Keegan, yet another one of those immaculate little flicks, and Berardi worked the opportunity and buried it. 17-year-old Paul Ferris comes on there for Kevin Keegan, but really it's somewhat academic with only a couple of minutes left on the clock. Really not much time for the youngster to make any impression. Waddles squeezing that one through. And this is Ferris. And as they say, he can make a name for himself here. And he's won the corner. He's quite a prospect for Newcastle. Played for Northern Ireland's youth team for the 4th time midweek against Wales. An outstanding game even though they went down 2-0. With Martin hurrying things along here. And Wharton, and that's gone in as well. That's 4-0, and Kenny Wharton's got his second. Mick Martin on the far side, you can see there, urging Newcastle to get on with it, and certainly his encouragement was rewarded. The bounce and the flight seemed to beat Agrizovic, and Kenny Wharton, the big smile there, his second of the game. It's 4-0 now, and a grandstand little finish here from Newcastle. Keegan, Dermott, Berardi was there. Donald trying to create something. He's to wait for the support well to get a cross in. Away there by Rathbone. Still Newcastle keep the move going. Anderson, McDonald, Berardi. And Berardi hooks that one in for the goal. Quick to seize the opportunity there as Newcastle kept that move going. Played in by McDonald, Berardi. assessed the bounce accurately. That was a skillful little flick there from Ray Varady. Now McDermott, good save by the keeper. And has it gone in? Eventually there by Waddle. Well, really took an eternity to get in there from Waddle. And the drama of the moment, rather lost. It was McDermott who fired it in. Geno got a foot to it, off the post, and just bouncing over the line there. And Chris Waddle surely finally putting this game out of Blackburn Rovers' reach.
Despite 21 goals from Kevin Keegan and 22 from Imre Varady, United missed out on promotion and finished back in 5th place.
Corner taken short. Waddle, 2 men to beat, but he's got the cross in. And Keegan, and Otto's on the line, but he can only help it in. And Kevin Keegan has scored the equaliser. Mills, Wharton, good ball back for Mills, who slipped his man. And the keeper's got a touch, but he can't keep it out. And David Mills has equalised for Newcastle. And Ryan got the ball in the flick on by Waddle. And there it is! And of course, it's Kevin Keegan. Who else? McDermott with the kick. And Keegan again! Newcastle, and Keegan sees the fans happy, and Lenny Lawrence can only reflect that you do everything you can in defence and he'll still turn again. Charlton overhauled with 9 minutes to go, and Kevin Keegan makes it 150 goals in the Football League and turns a very disappointing Newcastle performance into the possibility of 3 points. Andy May then on the ball, but he's let in Waddle here, surely. Great save by Williams, but Beardsley's picked it up. He's round one man, the keeper's struggling, superbly tucked away by Peter Beardsley, 1-0. McDermott forward, Keegan with a touch, and it's Chris Waddle galloping into space. He's left Kinsey for dead. Now can he find the man to finish it off? Keegan's there, and Keegan has scored. He started it, he's finished it. And this is Beardsley chasing. He's got away from his marker. Slipped it through, Waddle, fine save, Beardsley. He never stopped running, Peter Beardsley, and he got his reward. Waddle now. It's a fine ball through for Beardsley. Could this be the hat-trick? What a superb 3 goals from Peter Beardsley. Every one a gem. Now Waddle trying to work the opening. Wharton's knocked back. Keegan, what a finish from Kevin Keegan. He absolutely buried that one. Oh, beautifully brought down from Keegan. And a touch through for Mills. And Mills, the substitute, has got the equaliser. Only minutes left. Mills now. Well into injury time. Beardsley's still going, trying to get the ball in the middle, and Wharton's there. And Wharton has scored. It's 3-2 to Newcastle. Well into injury time, and Newcastle surely have grabbed the points.
Here, another win for Newcastle, and Chris Waddle at his very best.
And Waddle breaking forward, and Newcastle have 3 against 1 here. The one is Sullivan. The chance for Keegan. The goal for Keegan. Keegan is away here. And Beardsley. Will he walk it in? He does. Peter Beardsley in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Beardsley waving Keegan on. Now it's a race on with Tate. And Tate doing some holding, but Keegan's got the strength. And has Beardsley got the finish? 3-1. They contrived it between the two of them.
Waddle is less Sullivan this time, and Newcastle are outnumbering Portsmouth in this attack. Waddle goes his own way, and Beardsley couldn't quite collect the rebound off the goalkeeper, and Keegan, goal given.
Waddle in towards Keegan, that's the sort of ball he loves. What a good little glancing header to Beardsley, who's got control and scores with a beautiful left foot shot. Peter Beardsley makes it 1-0 to Newcastle, and Keegan was involved. Far Lane laying it up, straight to McDermott, and he's got Keegan in. 2-0, what a start for the little man.
This is what? For McDermott. Keegan's gone to the near post. Keegan! He was beginning to lose his patience with the conditions and with the pitch, but Terry McDermott brought joy for the old Liverpool combination.
Here against Chelsea, little back heel by Keegan and another goal for Terry McDermott.
McDermott. To Roda. Beardsley. Beardsley again. Brilliant goal. Well, that's a marvellous goal by Beardsley. A revelation really since he came to Newcastle back in September. And you can see why with a goal like that. A well-worked move, and Beardsley drifted round the defender and curled it into the far corner. 11 minutes gone, and Newcastle are back on level terms. Here's McDonald. Players falling all over each other there. And goes Walk. McDermott. And then for Waddle. With time to set himself up for the shot. McDermott. Brilliant piece of thinking by Terry McDermott. And Newcastle, with 20 minutes to go, are back in front. And Terry McDermott, the equaliser against Chelsea last week, and now he's put Newcastle in front. And just look at that. Terry McDermott may well have won for Newcastle. There's still plenty of time left. Gill. Beardsley, Keegan. Now Trueck arriving. Waddle's in the middle, and Keegan! The finish of a master craftsman. That a typical Newcastle move, which split open the Middlesbrough defence. Sweeping play, and Trueck's cross, picking out Keegan, who timed his run to perfection. And Mowbray on the line couldn't stop the ball going in. Kevin Keegan, goal number 23. 7 now in the last 7 games.
Anderson on the ball. Forward for Beardsley. And Keegan scores and makes it look so simple. Make it hit deep. Beardsley has made the run and picked it up. Keegan bursting through. Waddle. What a neat move, finished off so crisply there by Chris Waddle, 2-0. So Alan Shoulder with this penalty. And Carr saved it, and Poskett, and Carr saved it again. A marvellous double save that from Kevin Carr. Well, may the crowd applaud. But now it's Waddle breaking for Newcastle. McDermott, Keegan, this is a good move developing. And McDermott again, Beardsley. Keegan's there. And Keegan has scored. That's quite remarkable. Straight from the penalty save, Keegan's made it 3-0. It's Kenny Wharton who's making the overlap. Beardsley, still Beardsley. And Peter Beardsley makes it 4-0 to Newcastle with no problems. Now John Anderson letting wait to the attack. Keegan's done with it. And Beardsley. What a positive finish from Peter Beardsley. It's 5-0 now to Newcastle.
here against Derby County. Chris Waddle on the wing. Jinks round the defence, and there's Kevin Keegan. Waddle's throw to Keegan, back to Waddle. There's Truick. Roeder finds McCreary. And this is Peter Beardsley. Great control by Beardsley. That made it 2-0 now in the same game. Here's a goal for Chris Waddle. That's Beardsley finding Waddle in space, and a wonderful finish. 3-0. United still weren't finished though. Keegan starts off this move. Beardsley with the flick on. McDermott on the far post, and there's Beardsley, spectacularly making it 4-0.
Anderson now for Newcastle. The crowd willing this goal. Keegan, Beardsley, Waddle. It's hit the post, and Keegan! He's done it! Courtesy of the upright, Kevin Keegan has signed on with a goal. That's what the Geordies wanted. Keegan gets his 28th goal of the season. He it was who helped it on to Beardsley. Waddle's shot tipped against the post. Keegan on hand to snatch it. 1-0 to Newcastle United, and the fairy tale ending is on its way to being complete. In his 500th league game, Kevin Keegan scores his 171st league goal. And a fiction writer could not have bettered this. Beardsley. Keegan takes over. Truick. In it comes again to Keegan. And a fine cross to Waddle. Oh, yes! Keegan proves, as he has done so often through his career, he's not just a scorer of goals, he's a creator too. An immaculate twist and cross by Keegan from the left. And how well Waddle rose to head it in off the foot of the post. So Keegan scored one and made one for this boy. And Newcastle are back in front, 2-1. Carney with the clearance. Getting with a spectacular attempt to clear, but it drops for Beardsley. And Keegan. And Beardsley again. And Beardsley still. Magnificent! What a great goal by Peter Beardsley! And that is rounding it off in style, and Kevin Keegan would have been proud of that one himself. What a great goal. Everyone in this ground are on their feet. Beardsley showing magnificent skill when it looked as though the chance had gone. Keegan fed in. Eric Young with the tackle. It looked as though it had gone away from him. What presence of mind he showed to just lift the ball over Joe Corrigan and into the net.
Kevin Keegan's place in Geordie folklore was secure. His goals had earned promotion, 28 of them in all. The crowds had flocked to see him, and Newcastle were back in the big time after scoring 80 points to finish third in Division 2. Arthur Cox shocked Tyneside by moving south to take over as new manager of Derby County. And so the new boss of Newcastle was Jack Charlton, one of England's World Cup heroes and one of the game's biggest personalities. He'd enjoyed spells with Middlesbrough and Sheffield Wednesday, winning promotion on both occasions.
Everton get the second half underway. After their activities here. They're off to European competition against University College Dublin. And Wharton has been gifted a goal 15 seconds into the second half. And maybe Everton had other things like a European escapade on their mind. They certainly weren't concentrating on the matter in hand.
The scorer for Newcastle United, number 8, Kenny Wharton.
And Kenny Wharton was certainly full of life coming out for the second half and kept on running and just prodded it past Southall.
Waddle, being supplied by Beardsley, and he's made the gap this time. That's a fine goal. That is a really super goal. 2 minutes of the second half when the partnership works for Newcastle United. Beardsley supplying the ball and Waddle making room for himself and curling one in between Clemence's right hand and the right post to nestle with delight in the corner of the goal. Cut out by Saunders.
Oh, what a lovely ball, and Waddle's on his way, and is equalised. Well, when he gets it in this position, and he gets it onto that left boot, Woods had no chance.
Number 9, Chris Waddle.
Up in the air from Wharton. Cunningham disconcerted Moran. And Beardsley, a clinical finish. And Cunningham played a part. Although it came probably off the head of Kevin Moran, it was Cunningham jumped to that unsettled the central defender, and Beardsley, after a clever shimmy, buried it in the corner. That's the aerial threat that Jack Charlton was looking for from Tony Cunningham. And that's the impish skill of Peter Beardsley that Manchester United let go.
Newcastle had finished in a disappointing 14th place. Peter Beardsley and Chris Waddle's goals had brought triumphs, but Waddle's much publicised disagreements with Jack Charlton saw him first on the transfer list and then sold to Spurs for $590,000. The Newcastle crowd demonstrated at a pre-season friendly against Sheffield United, and Charlton resigned.
Thomas did well getting down. McDonald combining with Beardsley. And here's McDonald again. Riley's in the middle and a goal! Alan Davis. A sudden break just when it seemed Tottenham might score at the other end. Newcastle break away. And from the cross in by McDonald, Alan Davis back in the side today puts Newcastle in front.
United finished 11th. Peter Beardsley, ever present and leading scorer, with 19 goals. But Willie McFall was soon to strengthen his playing staff, signing the West Ham striker Paul Goddard for what was then a club record fee of £415,000.
Beardsley. Here's Anderson. It's all being played in front of Tottenham. Goff. Beardsley. And it's put in by Paul Goddard. Newcastle United are level. Suddenly, the more direct tactic paid off. It's a weak header by Goff. Whipped across, and Goddard was in for the kill. 1-1.
Peter Beardsley was a hot property, wanted by Liverpool, and he signed to move to Anfield for £1.9 million during the close season. It was a Football League record fee. Newcastle had finished down in 17th place. Clearly somebody had to be signed to replace Beardsley. And the man chosen was a surprise, the Brazilian international Mirandinha. He was the first Brazilian to play in the Football League, but after being signed for £570,000, his stay was an unhappy one. Also brought to the club, Michael O'Neill, an exciting prospect uncovered in Northern Ireland. He was persuaded to move from Coleraine to Tyneside during the autumn.
15 minutes remaining of what has been a most lively first half. Anderson is onside. Nijveski is committed. Mirandinha wants to score himself. He's given it to Goddard, and it's a goal. Who says Mirandinha doesn't pass? Because he waited and he waited, and the travelling fans in the northeast see Paul Goddard make up for the miss at 1-0. He's pulled it back to 2-1. Peter Jackson. Gascoigne. Here's Goddard. No way through the centre, but I think it was the style of the tackle of the two-footed variety. Newcastle are attacking the goal behind which their travelling fans are watching with great hope that there might be something yet from this trip. Here comes Mirandinha. Darren Jackson, Goddard, that's a great save, and it's in from Wharton. Maybe his first touch. So they do have something to shout about. And the missed penalty can be forgotten. Kenny Wharton didn't hit it very hard, but it didn't need too much after Mirandinha's free kick. Not the direct shot that Nijveski might have expected. Then he saved well from Goddard, but it ran for Newcastle and for Kenny Wharton.
Jackson, Mirandinha. Doubles made a good run here. We've got a room to work. Mirandinha, superb goal by the Brazilian. Mirandinha scores, and Newcastle right back in it now. And what are we saying about Mirandinha in the air?
He's proven to be a good header of the ball. Certainly got into a great position to get this. His movement of the ball was tremendous. Right in between two Everton defenders. And a great header. Tremendous goal. Good cross by Neil McDonald, by the way. You'll not get many better crosses than this behind the back four. No more than Newcastle deserve.
Now an FA Cup tie against Swindon, and here's an early example of Paul Gascoigne at his very best. Poor old Nicky Hammond in the Swindon goal just didn't have a chance. Gascoigne beating his man, great balance, looks up, finds his spot and absolutely nails it.
That's over the top from Roda, and Goddard will reach it first, and O'Neill! 1-1. Newcastle behind for only 8 minutes. Goddard set it up when he chased the long ball, and I just wonder whether, had Agrizovic come, he might have got it. He decided not. Goddard cut it across beautifully, and Michael O'Neill did the rest. This made Newcastle into trouble, which evaporates when Regis can't collect. Jackson. Goddard is onside. Gascoigne is through the middle. And O'Neill coming in from his berth on the left, if the play can be switched. Roda. Too strong for Dave Smith. And it's 2 for Newcastle and 2 for Michael O'Neill. one-goal deficit into a 2-1 lead. And the key moment was when Roeder there shrugged aside Dave Smith. And the cross was met by O'Neill and squeezed in.
Paul Gascoigne was clearly a rising star. Certainly Spurs thought so. They broke the British transfer fee record, paying over £2 million for him. The Wimbledon goalkeeper Dave Besant was signed for £850,000, a British record for a keeper. Ground improvements matched the ambitious plans on the pitch, but Willie McFall lost his job. The club had wanted Howard Kendall to replace him. Instead, they got Jim Smith from Queen's Park Rangers. Midfielder Liam O'Brien was signed from Manchester United. The Irish midfielder was brought to St James's Park for £250,000. They also spent £850,000 on the Wimbledon defender Andy Thorne.
Darren Jackson with the throw. Anderson, Jackson. Some elbows there from Mitchell Thomas. And another free kick which could provide some sort of danger, although Newcastle, to be honest, are short of six-footers in their side. Although up from the back now are both Scott and Thorne. Anderson with the cross. No, he hasn't got it in yet. No, plays it short instead to Bogey. Played in a difficult ball there. Spurs in trouble. And it's gone in with the number 6, Andy Thorne. Gets his first goal for Newcastle. And the Spurs defence in total disarray. A dreadful goal for Tottenham to concede. As the ball was played in there, nobody went for it, and it's the number 6, Andy Thorne, a former Wimbledon player. They stood looking, those yellow shirts, while Thorne reacted. Wharton. Ian Bogey. Stopped by Fairclough. Creary. In really dominant form at the moment, Newcastle. And with men over on this side as well. This is Henry. Cross coming in, and Darren Jackson! It's two, an almost replica of the first goal as Spurs stand watching again as the ball crosses their 6-yard area. And Darren Jackson thumped it joyfully into the back of the net to put Newcastle 2 up. There he goes, no chance for Mims. Ball ballooning the back of the net again. It's a really good cross again here by Henry, tempting the defence. Spurs left watching again.
Mouldinho. Kenny Wharton down this side. Didn't want to take it on. Well, it's not very positive defending, and Wharton gets a second chance. Good-looking cross, and Jackson gets an easy goal. That wasn't very good defending by Charlton. Darren Jackson makes it 1-1. Wharton had time to look up, clip the cross. Boulder couldn't get it. Mark Reed couldn't get it. Jackson did. His second of the season. 1-1. Scott. Wharton. McCreary. Newcastle, having got their first away goal of the season, have a point. Wondering whether they can turn it into 3. Mirandinha. Oh, and he's found a man. Tinian. No offside, and the goal stands. They'd all been drawn towards Mirandinha, and the pass with the outside of the foot took 5 players out, and Tinian was onside and makes it 2-1, 12 minutes to go.
They clearly feel they're up against a team that they can sweep aside. It's surprising they've only scored once. And here's the player who got it, Gillespie. Mulby. O'Neill. Found by Hendry, and he looks for a return pass, and John Hendry's in behind Mulby here. And astonishingly, Newcastle United have equalised. With 29 minutes gone. It's John Hendry's first goal in a black and white striped shirt, and what a place to get it. It's Mirandinha who'll hit it. 2-0.
Against Wimbledon now. The ball played into John Hendry. Hendry with the first, Hendry with the second, all the way. Against Southampton, clearance from Wallace falls only as far as Kevin Brock. Mirandinha was off, and on in his place, Michael O'Neill. Cross from the left, headed on, and it's O'Neill who gets the final touch. Long clearance from the back, and it was turning out to be quite an afternoon for Michael O'Neill. Capitalising on a defensive error and a fine strike. Free kick taken, and Rob McDonald gets the final touch. Again against Sheffield Wednesday. Darren Jackson with the header. It comes to O'Neill, and he manages to squeeze it home despite what you'll see. Well, it wasn't the nicest of challenges. Against Watford in the FA Cup. Through to Kevin Brock. Brock just shimmying his way past the defender, almost wrong-footing the goalkeeper, and in it went.
The bounce beating McMahon, O'Brien behind him, a touch from Aldridge, and then from Rush. Whelan trying to thread the pass through, aim for Barnes, Roeder stepped in imperiously. Grobbelaar has lost it, Mirandinha's in here! A disaster for Bruce Grobbelaar, a triumph for Mirandinha. 3 minutes gone, the expression that says it all. Mirandinha poached the goal when Grobbelaar was really beaten by the curl and the pace on the ball, guilty of misjudgment. But Mirandinha was hoping for just such a slip and had kept running and got his reward. Great start for Newcastle. Brock with the corner. Roeder right in there. And it's gone off the back of the head of Pingle, I think. It's his first goal in England. And what a time to get it. What opposition to get it against. Grobbelaar came, and it was Pingle who met it. And on the line behind Grobbelaar, they couldn't keep it out. Kevin Brock's expertise at the dead ball, conspicuous again. Newcastle are back in front. Mirandinha. And Sedgley got there first, and it's a poor back pass, and John Hendry's turned it in against the club with which he started his career.
Here's O'Brien in a good position.
and he's tucked it away, and Newcastle have taken the lead. O'Brien really finishes so calmly there.
Middlesbrough got caught very, very square here, and O'Brien made a good run through midfield. He should have been picked up by Mowbray a lot quicker than he was, and it was allowed much too much time to spend on the ball. Middlesbrough got what they deserved there. A goal against from very, very bad defensive play.
Well, Newcastle have got nothing to lose now. They've got to throw players forward. Mirandinha giving a different dimension to their attacking play. Seaman stopped it. And following up, Ray Ranson. Has it come too late for Newcastle? It's 2-1.
This is against Nottingham Forest. Ranson finds Hendry. Hendry to Brock. Brock works a 1-2 with O'Brien. And then with a little bit of a help from the defence, it's Brock who hammers it into the back of the net.
Still trying to rid themselves of this poor away record in the First Division. Well, they haven't made a very good start here. It was Mirandinha who turned it over the line. And certainly the conditions have worsened in the second half. O'Brien, Everton hesitated, and Newcastle are smiling in the rain.
O'Brien to Pingle. Pingle finds Mirandinha, and there's a spectacular goal for the Brazilian. O'Brien works a 1-2 with Mirandinha, and that's a superb strike by O'Brien. Mirandinha had worked the 1-2. O'Brien looked up, found the very corner of the net.
10 minutes left. Hendry's in there. And Liam O'Brien and Rhoda both went for it. I think it was O'Brien's goal. Oh, it's a mistake by Gale, and Lormer's away. Well, would you believe it? What an inspired selection by Jim Smith. Cascarino dropping back to help the defending. And Newcastle making life difficult for Millwall here. Hurlock. Anderson! Well, if that's a parting shot to the First Division, it's a pretty effective one.
Newcastle had been relegated after scoring just 32 league goals, and Mirandinha, an expensive flop, went back to Sao Paulo. Mickey Quinn arrived at the club from Portsmouth for £680,000, and he teamed up with Mark McGee, signed from Celtic for £200,000. Here against Reading. Roy Aitken with the cross, and McGee scores. Old Celtic teammates linking up wonderfully well. Aitken again the provider on the right. And once again there's Mark McGee. Aitken goes past the defence wonderfully well, and McGee, well, where was the marking? Cross from the left, headed on by David Robinson, only as far as Mickey Quinn. Mickey Quinn once said he was as quick as anybody over a yard. Only a joke, he's a great goal scorer. Stimson with the cross. David Robinson hammers it home. Newcastle beat Reading by 4 goals to 1. Newcastle had finished third. They didn't go up, though, after failing in the playoffs. Quinn had scored an outstanding 34 goals in the season. And here against Derby County, it's Mickey Quinn taking up where he left off. Long ball, hopeful as much as anything, but Quinn saw it coming and wasted no time. Great goal. Superb first-time volley by Mickey Quinn. United were to go on to win this match by 2-0. Here they've got players up there on the edge of the box, appeals for the penalty, but the referee says no, it's just outside. And so watch for Mark Stimson. Fine strike, Shilton beaten once again, and an excellent win celebrated by the Newcastle faithful.
He is the nearest to goal, and Crossley comes, didn't tell his defender, and as a result, Quinn scores. A bit of conversation goes on between goalkeeper and defenders. There'll be no sympathy around St James's Park for either. Only delight at a goal scored by Mick Quinn. Came for the ball through the crowd, Walker went up with him, and Quinn just had to nod the head and guide the ball in. Long throw from Watson, enormous distance, and the goalkeeper really was never there. Oh, he's got room for a good cross now, and it's a good one on the near post, and McGee makes it 2-0. Well, they've waited so long for this match at St James's Park. It was scheduled originally for January the 28th, and the start has put the crowd in dreamland. It was a good cross, had a lot of space, goalkeeper came for it, didn't get there, McGee beat him to it.
Mick Quinn scored another 20 goals, but United's problem was scoring consistently. They finished only 11th. Ozzy Ardiles was the next manager, but that season they almost went into the 3rd division for the first time, and Kevin Keegan was persuaded to come back. He spoke of Newcastle as home. He said it was the only club he would have managed. David Kelly had been signed in the middle of the previous season. The Irish striker would turn out to be a key man as Kevin Keegan's Newcastle United went for promotion. In the FA Cup in round 3, the opposition came from Port Vale. Robert Lee on the right. His shot saved, but there's Gavin Peacock. In the same game, it comes to O'Brien. O'Brien finds Peacock in space, and Peacock scores his second. A little bit of head tennis in midfield. That's before the ball eventually breaks to Robert Lee. Lee shrugs off the challenge and finishes in style. That's Lee again. Finds Peacock. Kevin Sheedy. That put Newcastle into the 4th round, and there the opposition came from Rotherham United. Clark finds Robert Lee. It finished 1-1, and so it was back to St James's Park for the replay.
Peacock. Newcastle forced back to go forward.
Kevin Keegan had banned all talk of Blackburn in the next round from the dressing room. And I'm sure now, as the seconds tick away, there'll be more than a few thoughts turning in that direction. One or two also in the direction of Marbella, where the Newcastle players will go for a 4-day break and may go there with a 2-0 victory if Clark keeps his head, which he does.
It was another Newcastle glory night. Fine strike by Clark, but in the next round they were to go out beaten 1-0 by Blackburn Rovers. The league was to be a different story. Newcastle swept all before them. They were the champions and the first team to win Division 1 and so be promoted. Kevin Keegan had worked his magic once again. He was worshipped on Tyneside, the ground full week in, week out, and now nothing seems impossible. Newcastle United back where they belong, in the big time, and still scoring those golden goals.